I'm sure there are many people inside the church and especially outside the church who would say the Ten Commandments are irrelevant, they're antiquated. This was a moral code for a different time. Some of them even are offensive to us now. You know, you read these stories of people crowdsourcing their Ten Commandments and just having some kind of online contest, and what they come up with is, on the one hand, vastly different. They'll have rules about, you know, being true to yourself or don't judge anyone, and yet it's really remarkable that when people have to come up with a moral code for themselves, they do come back to some absolutes. I was reading one report of this on CNN a few years ago, and they have all of these sort of live and let live commandments. There's no one right way or no wrong way to live. And yet the other commandments were so absolute about how you treat other people and about sexuality. So we live in this strange cultural moment which isn't entirely relativistic and isn't entirely absolutist, but is sort of making up your rules as you go, and your rules are fine for you, except that my rules need to be fine for you too. So I wouldn't try to convince people why the Ten Commandments are relevant. I would first of all want to help people see why Jesus is relevant, why the gospel is relevant. And then maybe there's an apologetic avenue to help people see that before you just dismiss the Ten Commandments, you need to understand that this has been, in some sense, the foundation for Western ethical and moral thinking for 2,000 years, and the Judeo-Christian tradition farther than that. You can look at the Supreme Court building and see that one of the characters etched there on the roof is Moses as the lawgiver. That doesn't mean that it's a Christian building or we're a Christian country, but it means that as a part of this Judeo-Christian heritage here in this country and so many places around the world, that the Ten Commandments have been foundational. And so before we decide, like 5 minutes ago, that we don't need the Ten Commandments, we ought to know some of our own history and how much more so in the church, where the Ten Commandments have played such an integral role in discipleship and catechesis in the history of the church. And for Jesus and for Paul, the Ten Commandments were that summary of obedience to God, that if we pay attention to our history and to the Bible in particular, we'll know that the Ten Commandments are always relevant.